What's up, YouTube? This is Kerry. I am here today. We're going to talk about boxing legend Zora Folley, who claimed Chandler, Arizona as his hometown. I'm at the Central Boxing Gym here on 18th Avenue and Van Buren Streets in Phoenix, Arizona. And on the side of this gym that's been here forever, there's some boxing greats that are from the Phoenix, Arizona area. Here's Edgar Bad News Wallace. Man, I remember as a kid growing up in the 70s, they would have his ads in the paper, like, come and see Edgar Bad News Wallace. They'd had his fights, it seemed like every week. It seems like he was fighting like all the time. There's Jerry Schoolboy Cheatham, remember him well, and some other greats over here, Jesus Gonzalez and Champ Michael Carbajal, who I've seen him around the Little Hands of Stone. I've seen him around Phoenix quite a bit. I mean, in person. He's kind of a local fella that you would just see around. You knew where to go. But here is Zora Folley's picture, and Zora Folley was a top heavyweight contender, and he fought Muhammad Ali for the title in March 22nd of 1967, and he lost in a knockout to Ali in the 7th round, but Zora gave him a game fight. But also at the time, Zora was 34 years old, and this was Ali's last fight before his 3-year kind of ban from boxing for not joining the military service. And again, Muhammad Ali was really at his peak. There's actually video of this fight between Zora Folley and Ali on YouTube, and I'm going to put a link up so you guys can watch it. But after the fight, Ali said that Zora was one of the tougher opponents that he ever had, and the scene might have been different had it been 10 years earlier. And you know, he's right. And it's a shame that Zora had to wait until he was 34 to get a title shot. But it's you know, it really, if you read up on Zora Folley and the heavyweight division politics at the time, it really sounds like Customato, who managed Floyd Patterson, who was the champ he was really a contemporary of Zora Folley. He really ducked him. Floyd Patterson ducked, and Customato, his trainer, ducked Zora Folley because, you know, hey, look what happens. And you know, he tried that with Sonny Liston, but eventually the clamor became, you know, too strong for Sonny. And then you see what happened when Sonny Liston faced Floyd Patterson twice. Zora Folley had some good fights against some quality opponents. He beat Eddie Mackin. He beat George Chuvalo. He beat Bonavina, who was a champ out of I think Tony Bonavina, who was a champ out of Argentina. Let's see, who else did he fight? Let's see, Doug Jones. He beat Doug Jones. Yeah, so yeah, he was a very accomplished fighter. His record was 79 wins, 11 losses, and 6 draws. He was an orthodox fighter, which means he was right-handed, and he was. You could see it in his fight with Ali, and he actually has some other fights up on YouTube. Maybe I'll post a couple more of his fights if you guys are really interested in checking to see what a good boxer Zora was. He was kind of that old school, not a lot of lateral movement, or no, I should say not a lot of flashy movement. Like you really see it contrasted with Ali. Ali was constantly moving in that fight, you know, moving his feet constantly. And Zora was kind of more the old school type that would kind of stalk you and get you where he wanted to. And if he landed his right hand, you might be asleep for a while. So he was a pretty heavy puncher. 44 knockouts out of that 79 win total. And he started fighting in the mid-50s. He turned pro in the mid-50s, fought up until 1970 when he retired. And unfortunately, he passed away 2 years later in Tucson, Arizona. And we're going to cover that and take a trip down to Tucson and talk a little bit about what supposedly happened there. We're at 222 South Freeway in Tucson, Arizona. And this is the place where Zora Folley unfortunately lost his life. This is the current swimming pool. At the time of Zora Folley's accident at the pool, it was called the Sands Motel. And I'm going to put a picture up of what the pool looked like. And I don't believe this pool is the same pool that is the one where Zora Folley fell and hit his head. But on July 8th, 1972, Zora Folley was here with a guy by the name of Artist Bloom, and Artist, his wife, and there was another woman by the name of Ann Young who was from Mesa, Arizona. And according to the police report, or what was reported to the paper, local paper here in Tucson, I should say, Zora was kind of, quote, roughhousing, unquote, with Mr. Bloom, and they were each trying to throw each other into the pool. And Mr. Folley, supposedly fell in the pool and hit his head, and died in surgery at a local hospital 55 minutes later. Again, that was on July 8th, 1972. And so there was a bit of a controversy because, Zora was happily married by all accounts. He and his wife, Joelle, had 9 children, and he was an upstanding citizen. This guy, Artist Bloom, was described in varying accounts as a kind of a hanger-on when Zora was boxing, and was kind of on the top of his game. And the reports I read don't really speak very highly of Mr. Bloom, but it's just kind of interesting. You're talking about a guy of Zora's stature and his height and weight, that's earned his living as a professional boxer, horsing around with just a regular Joe. And it's just weird that the regular Joe would get the best of him, but who knows, maybe he just caught him when Zora wasn't looking and he pushed him in the pool. An interesting part is that if you read, and I'll put up some links to some of the really good stories. Most of the articles that have been written are by boxing aficionados and boxing websites, but they go into pretty good detail about what happened. And Zora hit his head. There were like 3 lumps on his head, like the big one on his forehead and then 2 on the back, or the one on the top. And it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. You would, but who knows, maybe hit the edge of the pool and then hit something else, or or a corner of the pool, where it intersects, and you could hit your head twice, but I don't know, 3 times. It could have really just been a freak accident. It could have. And but the circumstances have spawned a lot of controversy, quite honestly. But yeah, it was kind of an ignominious end. I hope I'm pronouncing that right for Zora. But a lot of people have written and said, that he tarnished his legacy and this and that, and you would have expected more from a guy that was such an upstanding citizen. But who knows? He was down here. This guy was his friend, and sometimes the real truth is what it seems to be. He's just down here, screwing around with his buddy, and doesn't necessarily mean he was cheating on his wife or doing anything untoward with Miss Young, but maybe these guys are just, goofing off, and, he fell in the pool and hit his head, and it killed him, and you know, it's sad, but that's what happened. I'm at the City of Mesa Cemetery here in Mesa, Arizona. And Mesa is north. It's a suburb of Phoenix. Well, actually, Mesa is kind of its own city. It is its own city, but still kind of suburban Phoenix. Phoenix, it's part of the Phoenix metropolitan area. And Chandler is directly south of Mesa. And we are here at the final resting place of Zora Folley. And as you can see, Zora was a United States Army veteran. He actually fought in Korea, and he achieved a level of success boxing in the Army. He was I believe it was the 6th Army Group champion, and later he became the United States Army champion in boxing. All of which is amazing because Zora, when he grew up, was a big baseball fan and a good baseball player. But he started boxing in the Army, and you know, his career took off from there. After he was discharged from the Army, he came back home to Chandler and started his professional boxing career. And I wanted to kind of end this video on Zora on a more upbeat note. So our next stop is going to be in Chandler, where the city of Chandler named a park after one of their favorite sons. Okay, we're here at the Zora Folley Memorial Park here in Chandler, Arizona. There's the sign. It's right off of Fry Road. The address is 601 East Fry Road, Chandler, Arizona. As you can see, pretty decent sized park. There's ramadas with people, you know, picnicking, barbecuing. There's a basketball court over there, and beyond that looks like a baseball field and all-purpose field. There's probably soccer goals over there. And yeah, so I think it was a fitting tribute for Zora Folley. Again, he was one of Chandler, Arizona's favorite sons. He was actually appointed to the Chandler City Council following his boxing days. And following his retirement in 1970, I believe he was appointed and finished out a term as a city councilman here in Chandler. So also, I wanted to let you guys know, if you're down here in Chandler, Arizona, which is in the Phoenix metropolitan area, there is an exhibit at the Chandler City Museum that runs through August 2021 in honor of Zora Folley and his March 22nd, 1967 fight with Muhammad Ali, his one and only title shot. So it sounds really interesting. There was an article in the paper, or I should say online, I guess it was in the paper too, but there was an article where they interviewed Zora's son, and he and his family were very happy about the opening of the exhibit, which was in August of 2020, and sounds really interesting. So I'm probably going to go over there since I'm in Chandler and see if it's open and take a look inside. I doubt very seriously if they'll allow filming, so I'm going to end this video about Zora Folley, and please leave comments. Let me know how you like the video and or not. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm going to be posting or taking upon myself to post more videos here in 2021, and please pass the video around. And you know, boxing fans, Arizona history fans, you know, whoever you think might be interested. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.